Hey Sandhillers, this is Sandhills Shooter. I'm driving down the road and you know what that means. It's time to put some more thoughts up on a video. And today I'm thinking about a couple different things. They kind of tie together. I'm thinking about the family of Molly Tibbetts from Iowa and how horrible an experience that they have had. I can't even begin to imagine how they must feel. I can't wrap my head around this, and my heart goes out to the family after all of this and everything that's come out. And my heart goes out for another reason, because they can't watch the news, they can't listen to a radio program without still hearing about this and hearing everybody talk about the murderer, the animal that did this, and how he was illegal, and it's just sparked a lot of debate across our nation. Now, first and foremost, my feelings are that individual should never have been in the United States. He was not here legally. He lied about his identity. He used a stolen identity, and he shouldn't have been here. He was not who he said he was. He was a lawbreaker. He was a criminal. And the fact of the matter is, he did not belong in the U.S. Now, a lot of people have said if we had tighter borders, or there was a way to have caught him as he came in, or when he overstayed a visa, that Ms. Tibbetts would still be alive. And I happen to believe that same thing. Had we been able to keep this monster out of our country, or at the very least send him back to where he came from and tell him, if you want to be here, you have to go through the right channels, then there's a very, very real chance that this crime would have never happened, and this family would have never undergone such a horror. But recently I saw a post on social media that said everybody's upset about a college girl from Iowa, but nobody's upset about the family who lost their lives in Colorado. What's next? Are we going to outlaw old white men and ban them from the U.S.? And I want to talk a little bit about that concept, because there's two main answers to that. But the gist of it is, if old white men are not in this country legally, then yes, they are banned. We have a law that bans such a thing. They are not allowed here. I don't care if they're old or young. I don't care if they're from Mexico or from Japan or from Pluto. I don't care if you're white, black, brown, purple, green. It does not matter to me. If you break this country's laws and enter illegally, then you are a criminal and you do not belong here. If people want to come to this country and make a better life for themselves, then I'm all for that. That is how my ancestors got here. And they did it the right way. They came through legally. They became citizens. They denounced their citizenship of a different country and became citizens of the United States of America. They didn't come here and say, the world owes me something, or the U.S. owes me something, just because I come from a bad place. They said, no, I want to go to a place and make things better for myself. And I am 100% behind anybody who wants to do that. But the people who come here and lie about who they are, get into our country illegally, that makes them criminals. There's no other description, there's no other definition of a criminal. Someone who breaks the law. And if you break a law, you are a criminal. I have locks on my doors because at my house, I'm the head of the household, and security and protection of my house are my responsibility. Ultimately, that responsibility rests on me. And so It is up to me to make sure that my family is safe at night. It is up to me to make sure that the doors are locked, that the windows are locked, that we have the means with which to defend ourselves, that we have phones that are charged in case we need to call 911. Okay? The safety and security and the well-being of my family is my responsibility. If we don't have any food, then it becomes my responsibility to make sure that we have food. If we need clothing, it becomes my responsibility to make sure that we have money to buy clothing. Or that we have fabric and thread and needles and we could make our own if that were the case. Everything comes down to my responsibility. There are ways that I make sure that certain things get done. One of those is locking my door. If I invite you into my home, then you have a right to be there. But if you're not invited, if you come through my door uninvited, then you are a lawbreaker. You are there illegally. You are trespassing. You are a criminal. If you come into my house illegally, I have no responsibility to give you food. I have no responsibility to put clothes on you. I have no responsibility to teach you something and educate you. And you don't get a say in what happens in my home. Only the residents, only my family get to say what happens in our home. Okay? If you're not there legally, you don't get a vote at my house. If you come into my country illegally, then I have every right to assume that you mean to do something bad. If you come into my home illegally and you proceed to do something bad, then I have a right and an obligation to defend my home and my family. And I will do so if I'm ever pushed into that corner. And I pray to God that I never have to find out. But that's just the way it works at my house. The only people who are welcome are the ones who are invited or the ones who belong there. The only ones who belong there are the ones who live there legally. So, no, we don't need to ban old white men from the U.S. unless they're here legally. In which case, we need to ban people who are not here legally. Wait a minute. We've already got that law. Maybe we should enforce it. Maybe if we did a better job of enforcing the laws that we already have, then some of these people would still be alive today. That's all I really have to say. Thanks for listening, guys. Please give me a like, share this video, comment down below, and if you haven't, click that subscribe button and push that little bell next to it so you make sure that you hear all of my rants and raves. God bless.